Hello everyone, Lady Shatana here with another video about my style cavern in the Minecolonies mod in Minecraft, which we all love, obviously, or you wouldn't be here. Here today to talk about alternative and special builds within Cavern that are huts that I've made that might not fit the standard default or MegaHall style types. So as you can see, I've set up some basic infrastructure here, my town hall, MegaHall, a connector, a hall, and I've also set up the lower level so that I can show you some of the builds. So the first sort of special build is the guard tower. It's one of the ones that are built specifically to fit inside a intersection, or you can put them in the corners of connectors as well, depending on what you want to do with your connectors. But it's one of the three that are meant to fit into an intersection. So I'll just pull it up very quickly here. In the military, it's the default guard tower is the one that fits into the intersection. And as you can see, it's tall and skinny, and it pops right into the corner here. The only thing you want to make sure is that the door is visible when you put it in, and it pops right in. You can see it slides into the corner there. If you preview it at level 5, you can see it gets kind of fancy, but that's it. You just put them in there and they will help increase your borders and make your citizens happy. So you can put them in any of the intersections, and they can be kind of an afterthought because I often build and realize that I don't have room for my guard towers. So that's one of the reasons why I made it this way. So other than the guard tower, the alternative courier is also meant to fit into an intersection, and that is, I believe, craftsmanship, storage, and alternative courier's hut, and it's built exactly the same way as that guard tower, so meant to fit into the corner of a hut. And again, just make sure that you've got the door visible, and when you preview that, you can see it also gets quite fancy. So that's the alternative meant to fit into a corner of an intersection. The third and last hut that is meant to fit into an intersection is the alternative builder, and that will be under fundamentals, alternative, and the builder's hut. So this one, it's a bit bigger because a builder is a bigger kind of build in any of the styles. And as you can see, it will slide into the end like this. It will butt up against the wall, and it will overlap the side walls here, but you can see when it's sort of centered here, and you will see that it will line up with the door, so you know you've got it in the right place, and it will take up the entire end of the intersection. And that's this one is one that you may want to do on the end of connectors as well, just so that you can make it a bit more roomy and make it look nicer. Speaking of looking nicer, when you preview that at level 5, again, you can see that it gets pretty fancy. So that's that. Those are the three that are meant to go into an intersection. Next, I'm going to show you a special build that's meant to go downstairs here. So in addition to those guard towers, when I did the setup for the lower part of the colony, I came up with the alternative guard tower, and I call it the guard post personally because this one is not actually a tower. So you can see we've got the lower hall running under the hall, which was over there, and the lower connectors running under the connectors. And the connectors have these decorative blocks, you can see, and they are not there just to be pretty. They're there for a reason. They're there to help you actually line up the guard tower. So you're going to go into the military, alternative, and guard tower, and you're going to slide it into the wall here, and you can see in the preview that the guard tower has those same blocks. So you're going to get them lined up just like that. It's easy to see when they are lined up. You'll have a blank space right here, and you'll see the rest of the hut there. And you can see when you look at the borders of your colony right now. Right now, all it is just what was claimed when you set your town hall. And from where I'm standing, you can see I've got 3 chunks, 3 blocks up to the side here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend that the builder actually built it for me, and I'm going to actually build it at level 5, so I can show you just how much of a difference that it does make when you put these in, because I don't know if that's something we've ever actually shown you. So previewing it at level 5, and going to hit it as constructed, and you can see it just pops that cute little guard post in there. Has a an adorable little jail cell there, which I thought was really fun. And now when we take a look, you can see we now have 5 chunks built out. So the guard tower, when fully upgraded, does make a big difference in how much space your colony has. So you can see that it made a big difference there. So these ones, you can have a combination of these guard posts and the regular guard towers, and you can put them in really anywhere as an afterthought to help you push out the borders of your colony wherever you need them. So I thought that was really fun. I may at some point see about coming up with other huts that will also fit into the same space, maybe a courier or something, but we'll see. That's for the future. Another thing that is the special huts, and I've talked about it in one of my other videos, is the what I call the workshops. So they are in the infrastructure player spaces, and they're all called workshops. So right now there is, in the official mod, there's 4 sort of blank workshops. They just create a great big open space. I have coming in, it should be in the next update, is a workshop that includes player fields for the farmer, which I talked about in one of my other videos, and I'm slowly coming up with other workshops as well. So those will fit into this downstairs space. And when you take a look at, so you can see here, now that we've got that guard tower in there, we can actually see on our map that we have something in this quadrant. And in this one, we can see without running around that we have nothing in this quadrant yet. So it would be available to build one of the workshops in. And those ones, it will just be lining it up will be the same as lining up any of the other huts. So let's just, as an example, we'll take a look at this one, moving it right in there and over. So you can see this one has a single door and does not match up with that wall. So rotate it, and now you can see it does actually have the matching wall. So this is what you're going to use to line it up. And again, so same as when you're building huts in there, they're going to line up with the doors. You can see the edges there, but don't worry about it. I've built it taking that into account. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place and pretend that my builder actually built that. And it is going to pop in a giant player space. So this is to do with, as you will, put in your personal storage or your magic or your tinkers or whatever you got going on. And as time goes on, I will add more of these. As I said, I do have the fields one coming that has 4 farmers fields in it. And now you can see in your preview that you have filled this space up. So in this case, if you wanted to have a guard tower in this quadrant, you would just put it on the other side. So it definitely fills a space, it fills a need, and I'll be adding bits as we go along. So that's another one of the special ones that may not be entirely intuitive when you first get started. The only other one I want to talk about today is the alternative connectors. So a regular connector just sort of fills a space and helps you get from one part of the colony to the next, and then you can fill it with some of the various decorations and things. We've had another video about that. But one thing that's always important to remember is there are the alternatives for a lot of buildings that fit into a connector space. And that's especially important if you're building with all MegaHalls, because there are some huts that are not included in MegaHalls. And the reason for that is because I had these connector versions for them already. So the warehouse, the delivery man, the hospital are not, and the miner are not actually included into the MegaHalls, because the warehouse has a connector version, so does the hospital. Delivery man, they have those alternative ones that go in the corner. Because delivery men are a single block hut, so single wide, single tall, they will also fit into the lower halls. So you can actually fit 4 of them into the lower halls there. So that will be a really easy way to get all the delivery men in that you need. But for adding the warehouse and the hospital, they just go into the connector areas there. So, and when you're lining those up, they line up same as kind of, any other connector build that you're going to do. Let's take a look at the warehouse, for example, craftsmanship, storage, looking at alternative and the warehouse. And these ones, they're pretty easy to line up because they've got the same flooring as any of the connectors, and they're going to, so here we've got right there. So they're going to overlap on the outer wall, same as you're used to doing. And as you can see, by opening up where I do that 5 by 5, just tunnel out from all of my edges, it really helps you line up where you're going to be building. And as I've said before, you always have to make sure that your hut block is open before you actually click build, because you need to be able to reach it to start that build. And if you don't do that, the hut block will still place, but it'll be buried into the stone, and you're going to have to hope you remember where it is when you go to dig it out. So just always make sure you go in there and make sure that's available before you click OK. And as I said, really easy to line it up when you do it that way. And again, I'm going to preview it at level 5, and I'm going to pretend that my builder actually built it. And there we go. When you paste, it always does funny things, doesn't always put the lights up where they belong. But so now you've got that there, and it's going to take up the same space as a regular connector, but actually serve a purpose. So that's that. The very last one to talk about is the mine, the alternative mine. If you're doing all MegaHalls, you'll have to use this alternative mine. And what you want to do is make sure if you do multiple levels or multiple floors of your colony, always make sure the mine goes on the very lower level. And that makes sure that it won't interfere with any parts of the colony. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to an intersection and a lower, and so you're going to be in here. One thing you're going to want to make sure that you're keeping an eye on this part right here. So you pull up, and it's going to be in fundamentals, because a mine is a fundamental part of a colony, and alternative, and then you're going to pick the mine. So you're going to put it out here a little bit, and this is going to go under. So you're going to put it down until you see where that little piece is coming up right here. And it is going to actually match up with the one that's already there. So this is what you're using to line up your build. When you have those 2 pieces matched up, you'll see that it is perfectly centered into the hut here, or into the intersection, and then making sure that you've got the floor and everything is all matched up. So once you've got that there, I'm going to preview this at level 5 so you can see what it looks like at the end. And I'm going to pretend that the builder actually built it, so I'm going to hit it as constructed. And so you can see it just takes up that center part of the intersection. Looks pretty nice. The Mines of Morality. And when you go down, it's actually built your miner's hut here and started the shaft down into the ground. So the miner will do its normal work where it builds all the way down, but by doing it here, it's tucked out of the way and it's not going to interfere with anything else in your colony, which it could do if you put it elsewhere. So this is what you'd need to do if you're building with all MegaHalls. And that is the last of the special and alternative buildings. I hope that this helps and lets you know what might be available to you if you might not be aware of it. So happy building, and I will see you again very, very soon. Bye!